So, 5 guiding principles of unity. If you remember them, God is, I am, I ask, I pray, I act. God is the one and only presence and power. We believe that God is good, that God is everywhere present. We do not believe that God is a deity that is outside of us, but rather that God is the creative impulse of everything. I am. I am not all that God is, but all that I am is God, meaning that we have come forth from this creative impulse, and we have been given creative ability in our lives. And that leads us to the third, which is I ask. And we ask through our consciousness, we ask through our faith, through our focus, but we also move to the fourth, which is I pray and I meditate, because we also ask through prayer. And in unity, we believe in affirmative prayer. And then meditation is that time of letting go. And, prayer is like talking to, and meditation is communing with, communing with the divine. And then our fifth principle is I act. It's not enough for us to know the truth. We must live the truth that we know. We must take action. Okay? Okay, got it? That's it. We're done. You guys all really know better than that, huh? That would be like a miracle. So for the last 2 weeks and today, we've been talking from a book called God Never Fails by Reverend Mary Kupfer Lee. And so we're going to start with some affirmations that we did over the past few weeks. So if you'll join me together, God has... What? I didn't really believe that. God has blessings for me today. Let's say it with some passion. God has blessings for me today. God loves me. God's grace is upon me, and only good can come. It is only for good. Only good can come. All there is God. All there is in this is God, and God's good. Only good fills this experience. Only good can come. And even as we just say that little bit, can you already feel yourself starting to move towards, yeah, that is the truth. And we talked the last few weeks about, and I talk about this a lot, we can't leave what we learn here, that we have to take it with us and we have to utilize it throughout our days. Mary, I love talking about Mary Kupfer Lee's teachings, and the thing about it is she just gets right to the point. She doesn't cut us any slack. It's like, this is the truth, this is what you can do. And the thing is if we do these things, our lives will change, right? We know that to be true, correct? Absolutely, we know that to be true. So we're going to continue talking about Mary Kupfer Lee today. And part of this is from the book God Never Fails, and part of it is from Trust in the Goodness of God. So today we're going to be talking about asking and receiving. And there's the scripture that says, ask and it will be given to you. Is that right? Yes. Seek and you will find. And knock? Yes, okay. So ask, seek, and knock. So recognize, like I said, that asking in unity, it's not only just the consciousness, our faith, but it's also through prayer, that we're asking through prayer. And in unity, we believe in affirmative prayer, which is based on Jesus' teaching that says, whatsoever you ask for in prayer, believing that you've received it, you will have it. So we say, thank you. Thank you for the healing that is taking place in my body. Thank you for the healing of this relationship. Thank you for the flow of abundance in my life. So we're bringing it to the present moment. We're acting as if. But here's the thing, is the scripture says ask, seek, and knock. So it's not just about asking. It's also getting to that fifth principle, which is about action. So she tells a story of a young man. This was many, many years ago, and the jobs were scarce, but he always had this dream of someday creating his own business. And he was really frustrated because nothing was happening, so he finally went to a friend of his who was an older friend, and he expressed his difficulties to him, just saying, nothing's happening, I am a true student, I'm praying, but nothing is happening. And so his friend looked at him and simply replied, well, I know that you had said you wanted to start your own business, so why don't you start your own business? All you have to do is move a little. Imagine that. We might have to move a little. Take the first step. You said you wanted to have a business, then you need to get an office. Just go get a room somewhere. It doesn't have to be anything fabulous. And so the guy, when he left there, he had kind of a lilt in his step because he was like, yeah, that's all I need to do. Now I need to just take action. I need to move a little. I need to take some action here. So he did go and he got a room. And the next day he went and got some business cards, and then the other thing that this guy said was, prepare yourself for selling. And so the other action he had to take was, I need to do what I need to do to get ready to make my sales. And so he got some equipment in his office, and then he went out and he started to just actively and with enthusiasm talk to people about his business equipment. And with time, his business really grew. In fact, it grew so much that he had to get a partner after a year's time. So what he said many years later as this successful businessman, he said, it was the simple suggestion of my friend that helped me to understand that there was more to cooperating with God than just sitting and praying. I knew then that I had to move a little as well as pray a lot. I had to move my feet in the direction that I wanted to go. And I know that we know this, but I think a lot of times we forget this, and I think a lot of times, especially in kind of a new thought way of life, there's kind of that thought that, well, I can just sit and visualize, and I can just sit and pray, and everything is just going to unfold, and everything is going to happen for me. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You can sit, and you can pray, and you can sit, and you can visualize, and you know what? Everything will happen for you, but you've got to be the one to get up and do something about it. And I say that because I've heard, and this is just my opinion, kind of based on what I think Unity teaches, because I've heard people say, I can, I don't have to do anything to lose weight, I can just think the weight away. And I haven't actually seen that really work in the long term for people, because the reality, guys, we're in physical bodies, and it's important to move these bodies, yes? It's important for our overall physical health. It's important what we're putting into our bodies. It's important that we're aware of that. And so we have to take the action. If we're desiring to have a healthy body, a healthy experience in life, it's important for us to take the action. Would you agree? Yeah. And so with anything that my sister kind of went, oh, God, she's not coming back here after this. And I love, because the way that Mary Kupfer Lee says it is, the beginning step need only be a simple way of showing the Father that you believe in his kingdom and his promises, that you believe in your divine son-daughtership and inheritance of good. What we would say, that when we take that first step, whatever it is, that the universe rushes in to support whatever step we're taking. Whichever way we're going, the universe rushes in to support that. But we have to be the ones to take that step. And not just one step, but we're going to take a lot of steps, right? Absolutely, we're going to take a lot of steps. About 9 years ago, there was a young woman here that just all of a sudden it just really pressed in upon her that she wanted to work at the Silent Unity prayer room. But there was nothing in her life that seemed to point in that direction. Didn't even seem a possibility that she would be able to sell what she needed to sell, to have the money to go up there. But it was such a deep thing inside of her that she decided to take her first step, which was to put an application in. And guess what? She got the job. And guess what? Every next right step unfolded for her. And she has just finished up 9 years in the prayer room up at Silent Unity. And she said that it's just been some of the best years of her life to have been able to do that. And so the point of this being that asking is not just about praying, but we have to show in a way the universe that we believe in what we're asking for. It's up to us to take some action, to step out in that direction. I've had a lot of experience with people and counseling throughout my life, and it tickles me when somebody comes in and they're really desiring relationship, but they're not getting out of the house at all. It's kind of like, well, you might have to step out and go to some places that would feel good for you to maybe just be open up to meeting somebody. Although I know you can get online and you can meet somebody, and that works really great for people too. My point being that we have to take some action steps. So with this whole idea of asking, I'm going to share with you a lot of words verbatim from Mary Kupfer Lee because they're so powerful. This past Tuesday, we had our staff meeting, and we were talking about, the fact that Peapod is going to be leaving. They're leaving by the end of the month. That's our preschool. And that's been a significant source of income for us for like 4 years. So it's a big deal that this is happening. But it's a really good thing too. We recognize that there's great opportunity and great possibility in this, and we recognize that it's important how we are lining up with this as a collective consciousness. So as I was doing my research for the talk, it was just like, oh man, I run in and I read this to him, and it really uplifted us, and it's just powerful words. So Mary says, and Mary speaks so personally and so beautifully, and so she says, what is your need today, dear friend? Beautiful. Or she says, beloved of God. Is it for peace of mind? Then ask for peace of mind. Is it for a new job? Then ask for a new job. Is it for the healing of a relationship? Then ask for the healing of the relationship. Is it for bodily wholeness? Then ask for bodily wholeness. Is it for a greater sense of love and happiness? Then ask for that greater sense of love and happiness. Don't be afraid to ask. And I love because she says nothing is too small or too unimportant to ask for. And here's the thing about when we're in the awareness that nothing is too small, we create small successes that creates momentum for us. So it's something like, I lost my keys. And I can frantically go around searching for my keys, or I could stop in the moment and just say, I am so grateful that I am divinely guided to where my keys are. I'm going to tell you this works, over and over and over again on the little things. And then when those little things show up and we're having success with that, we're like, okay, I can't find something else, or I need to be guided to this, and then we start getting into bigger things. So recognize it's important to be asking for those little things and getting those successes. But she also says nothing is too big to ask for. And I think a lot of times we don't think that we're deserving of or worthy of what our big dreams are. What is it that is that something that's bubbling up in us that, and here's what I mean. So let's just say that we're dealing with some health issues. And what we really desire is we desire to be healthy. But their health issues have become so much that we don't even believe that we can be healed. And so the important thing here is to recognize nothing is too big. There is nothing that cannot be transformed through the power of God that is working through you. Nothing that cannot be transformed. And I want you to get that. Nothing that cannot be transformed. You may be in a place where you feel like you're going to have to file bankruptcy, and working with these principles, that in and of itself can be transformed. I'm not saying if you file bankruptcy, that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that there is nothing that cannot be transformed through the power of God that works through you. Yes, that works through each of us. But we have to be that conscious, cooperative partner in that, and we have to do the work that is ours to do. She said, ask with boldness and trust. Ask with conviction and faith. Ask in the remembrance of the one who said, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened unto you. It didn't say ask and we'll see what happens. Ask and it will be given to you. And here's the thing. Well, she says, there's a responding presence that hears our every call. And that's part of it, is recognizing it, not just here, but really getting it deep down. There's a responding power that fulfills our every need. And that responding presence and power is right here within us. And Jesus, our master teacher, the great metaphysician, showed us that over and over and over again, that responding presence and power is right here. And that we just have to call it forth, and we have to receive it, and we have to accept it. And I love this. She said, beyond your human vision and intellectual reasoning lie the vast and limitless creations of God. I want you to get this. Beyond your human vision and your intellectual reasoning lies the vast and limitless creations of God. We have just become so blinded, we have become so used to living in the outer world that we have forgotten that all around us are these vast and unlimited creations simply awaiting our ability to be able to receive and accept them. They're here. They always have been. They always will be. You've experienced it in your lives. You have, where something has just come out of nowhere and it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? Hello? From that which is all around us all the time. But we have to get out of this mind that limits us. And we have to open ourselves up to something greater than that. I love this. She says, you may have to change your attitude from negative to positive many times a day in order to become an open channel through which your good will flow. How many of us can attest to that? And that's why I say, you guys, we cannot leave it here. We cannot come and listen to something, listen on the radio, whatever it is, and then go, okay, good, and go back out into our lives and focus on what we don't want. Focus on limiting ideas and beliefs. We have got to speak, and that's what I love about Mary Kupfer Lee. She's like, speak it into being. Use your power. You've been given a spirit of power and a spirit of self-discipline. Use your power to speak these things into being and tell that which is unlike it to get behind you, because it has no power over you. The reason Jesus said, get behind me, is because he wasn't going to look at it anymore. I'm not even going to look. I'm not giving you any attention. And Charles Fillmore says, evil is a parasite that is only given life by its parent, but as soon as the parent is no longer giving it any energy, it dies. So anything that is unlike the good, when I have it get behind me and I'm not willing to give it that energy, it can no longer be. And we must speak into being that which we truly desire to experience. She said, you may have to make outer changes to take outer details in hand. Oh my God, we might have to do something. Wow. And she says, you may have to move into larger concepts of your ability. I love that. Because I'm going to tell you, we are good at playing small. We are good at diminishing our abilities. We are good at comparing ourselves to other people, to other things around us. We are good at saying, I'm a limited being. But what we want to become good at is enlarging our own image of ourselves. Because the reality, you guys, is I'm not all that God is, but all that I am is God. Should that be diminished in any way? No. That means that all the qualities that we would give to God, that's what we have, that's what we are. Everything that we need, that which is desiring to emerge as us, it's there for a purpose. And we have to enlarge our vision of ourselves and step into it. That's exciting. That's exciting. That's an awesome thing. And you may have to open your mind through prayer and affirmation to light and guidance, but as you persist, and here's our next affirmation, as you persist together, every need will be met. Okay? So I'm going to point when it's time for us to say this. We're going to say this a lot. If you have become negative and discouraged, align yourself with a strong awareness of the unlimited supply and power of God, because it's now even waiting your acceptance. Every need will be met. Let these words become your rod, your staff, your food and drink, a living part of your thinking and feeling. Let them become so dominant that they come instantly to mind when any appearance of lack confronts you. Hear that. Let these words, every need will be met, become so dominant that they come instantly to mind when any thought or idea of lack appears. Let them so fill your consciousness that they speak to you in every happening so clearly that no person or circumstance can drown them out. Every need will be met. Prove me now herewith that I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing so big that you will not be able to store all that I have to give you, saith the Lord of hosts. I will pour you out a blessing so big, but we have to receive it. We have to believe it. We have to open ourselves up to know that that is the absolute truth for every one of us. And I want to tell you today, to every single person here, that it is true for you. It doesn't matter what you've ever done in your life, where you've ever been. It doesn't matter how spiritual you think you are or aren't. It doesn't matter if you feel like you failed a gazillion times. None of it matters, you guys, because God as love can only always love us unconditionally and constantly be there in its allness, ready to give. The only reason we don't receive is because we haven't opened ourselves up to it, right? And so today is about that. It's about opening ourselves up and really just saying, and if you feel that you're having a hard time with that, then, this is not, I want to say this, we're not dogmatic in our teachings. We don't claim to have the final answer. I think that would be so arrogant, because who knows? But what I will say, we do believe in affirmative prayer, but you know what? Sometimes that beseeching prayer is okay too. When you say, God, help me. Help me in my unbelief about this. Help me, I'm open. I want to know my worth. I want to know my value. I want to be able to step into what is bubbling up here inside of me. Help me to have that faith and that knowing that I can do whatever. And show me what my next steps are. Help me to receive my good, to accept my good. Because I'm going to tell you, it's here at this moment, at this very moment, in every moment of your life. It's here for you in its allness. The limitless creations of God are all around us because God is for you. So in closing today, in your bulletin, you have a reading that we're going to read together if you would like to. And I share this about every other year because it's so powerful. I invite you to take this home. And not just take this home, but take this home. Speak the words with power. You have that power and that authority to change the direction of your life. So let's share in this from Trust in the Goodness of God. Together, in every moment of my life, God is for me. In the heights of happiness, God is for me. In the depths of despair, God is for me. When I feel strong, sure, and confident, God is for me. When I feel unworthy and inadequate, God is for me. At my best, God is for me. When I am scarce, God is for me. When I am skeptical and doubting, God is for me. When I am positive and achieving, God is for me. Every moment of every day, God is for me. And because God is for me, nothing can be against me. I acknowledge at this very moment, to the exclusion of any and all doubting thoughts or limited concepts, God is for me. I tell myself this over and over. I remind myself of this whether I am alone or in a crowd, whether I am at work or at leisure, whether or not I feel deserving enough, faithful enough, spiritual enough, God is for me. I eat and drink mentally of this idea. I let it feed my soul and nourish my mind. I let it support my thought world and firm up my faith. I let it move to guide my words and actions. God is for me. God is at this moment revealing the answers I seek, providing the assistance I need, and fulfilling the good I deeply desire. Now, before we say this last one, we're going to do this last one 4 times. And we're going to put an emphasis on each word. So we're going to start with God. God is for me. God is for me. God is for me. God is for me. And so it is.